It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the TBBO Tuesdays edition of That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. The show now in partnership with the Tampa Bay business owners as a result of the continued growth and demand for business owners to get onto this program and talk about what it is that they do, because this is the only show giving a voice to the Tampa Bay business owners in the community on a regular basis. And so very excited to be able to talk to the different business owners each and every morning here on the radio show program. Now in partnership with the Tampa Bay business owners, a network of probably over 300 business owners now, and you can learn more about this over at tbbo.org. And I've also adjusted the tampabayradio.com site more and more to incorporate more of the TBBO functions and benefits of the organization inside that website as well. So you can head over to tampabayradio.com or tbbo.org to learn more about the organization. A lot of great events going on each and every month. Today at 2:30, we're having a double-header workshop. It's going to be focusing on sales. Two presenters involved. The first presentation is entitled The 7 Steps to Sales Success, and then the second presentation is entitled Working from the Outside In. So that's going on from 2:30 to 5 o'clock today at the iHeart radio station. Tickets are available, and TBBO members receive discounted rates depending on their membership. So again, you can head over to tbbo.org/events and pick up a ticket for that event. We would love to see you out there. Also, we have an event coming up this Friday. It's a members-only event. That's going to be our first business improv, and very excited about this. Very well received by the organization thus far. So this will be our pilot program where we work with headlining comedian Law Smith and improv coach Nancy Sears on how to incorporate both comedy and improvisational techniques into your business presentations, from your speeches, your presentations, maybe your one-on-one meetings with clients, pitch sessions, things like that. So this is going to be a work in progress. This is our pilot program, but a lot of people have already signed up for this. It is free for members to attend, and that's going to be going on from 9 to 11. So if you've been considering TBBO and would like to attend the event, get with myself or one of our salespeople and talk with them about how you can join TBBO today. A very cost-effective investment to better your business, grow and diversify, and collaborate with other fellow business owners in the organization. Another key benefit of the membership is Key Connections. This is a new benefit recently put on where myself and Chris Cremitzo sit down with you one-on-one to discuss key connections that we can make for you and the community. I myself have interviewed nearly 1,000 people on this radio show. So when I sit down with the members and I tell them to tell me a little about their business, tell me who I can connect you with, really get to know the person. I see opportunities that they don't even see just because of the conversations that I've had with so many of the guests on the program. Likewise with Chris. Chris, I know, has sat down with probably 5,000 or 6,000 different people over the last 7 to 8 years through the Tampa Bay business owners. So both he and I are very well connected in the Tampa Bay community. And so that alone, not even including all the benefits, the radio show appearances, and the education and the collaboration that you receive, that alone is worth the investment into the Tampa Bay business owners. And for those of you wondering, it's $595 a year, and then we charge a $250 activation fee. That's a one-time charge. And so very great investment into your business. It's a well-known brand here in the Tampa Bay region, and one you will not be disappointed in. So I got the founder of the organization with me on the phone line with me today. Chris Cremitzo is joining me as always. So Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jamie. Good morning,
so did I leave out any of the benefits? I know there's many benefits of Tampa Bay business owners, but can you elaborate a little bit more? Did I miss something that you should tell that we should tell the community?
It's just a great peer-to-peer network, and we're known as the Tiffany brand of the community for business owners, education, and connection, because it's all business owners. For business owners by business owners.
And you founded this some 8 years ago, and it's just been a great partnership between That Business Show and the Tampa Bay business owners. And so I commend you for what you've done in the community. I mean, you're a tremendous community builder, and now you're working on another community that you're building through the podcasting space. And we've talked about this a number of times on the program. You're building up, or you've commissioned a film called The Messengers. You can go to themessengersdoc.com to see this trailer. We went to Puerto Rico just last weekend to film John John Lee Dubas of Entrepreneur on Fire.
Yeah, I finally saw that picture of him. I forget the guy's name, but he's climbing up in the palm tree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, VP. Yeah, we lost a drone over there in Puerto Rico, and VP had to climb up into the tree. And unfortunately for me, they Facebook Lived it, so they got me without my shirt on. Not one of my prouder moments, but nonetheless, we did capture the drone.
I didn't see you in there.
Yeah, no, there depends on what image that you caught. If 4 of us or 5 of us were sitting there trying to get the drone, 2 of the guys were sitting there Facebook Living it. One guy couldn't get on Facebook Live, so he was Facebook Live and him trying to get on Facebook Live, and then the other guy was actually Facebook Live in the actual event of us trying to get this drone out of the tree, which was over a big body of water. So this $1,500 drone was in danger.
Looked like he was about 15 feet, somewhere roughly 15 feet in the air.
Yeah, 15 feet in the air.
He was over a river.
So, Chris, tell us about the progress that your crowdfunding campaign has made with the messengers to date.
Right now we're at 57%. We're at like 11,000 and change. I'm trying to get it to as close as I can to close it out. So I'm down to 30 days. I'm in the window where it starts really ticking down. Each day counts. So,
and what can people get by contributing? You have different levels of contribution, from a low end to a very high end contribution. But tell me about some of the levels, what people can get by actually contributing. It's not just giving you money for your film; they get stuff in return too.
Oh yeah, there's levels like where you, like at $200, we'll put your business logo in there. We'll highlight you in the credits. You get tickets to the premiere. There's a lot of benefits to your business, so it's and especially if you're looking to market to people that are, any kind of coaching program. This is going to be seen by people that want to learn about podcasting. And so yesterday we were filming Benicia Hilton. She has a podcast called Sisters of Flow, and she has Menstrual Mondays, Hump Wednesdays, and Flow Fridays. So it's about women's menstrual cycles. And I asked her, we were filming in her, what she called her Flow Aces, I guess her office. And she talked about things like vagiseling and vaginal steaming.
You got podcasts on every topic out there, because you got another person in your group.
Okay,
Josh is sitting there like, what the heck is he talking about? Yeah. And you got another podcaster that does a podcast on colon cancer.
These are all medical.
Yeah, they're all necessary topics. I mean, people want to hear about this.
I'm not that mature.
I mean, Josh may not be an audience, an avatar for that, but nonetheless, there are people out there for these different topics. Like you have the one person in the Podcasters Association who does the colon cancer podcast, and it was actually his message that inspired the title of your film, The Messengers, correct?
Yeah, Lee Silverstein. I asked him, besides a podcaster, what do you consider yourself? And he said, I'm a messenger. And I wish I had this message when I had cancer. So,
wow.
But we have the girl with the Sisters of Flow. The reason why we interviewed her is we needed some comic relief, and I'm being serious, for the movie, because it is humorous. I'm glad that Josh reacted the way he is, because many of us are very immature, and we needed some laughs. And we needed some laughs in the movie. And when she started saying what I just repeated to you, when she talked about the last thing I told you guys, we couldn't hold it straight. So it took the crew a while to compose ourselves for the sound bites,
Sisters of Flow. So that podcast available on iTunes.
That's hilarious. But I mean, what actually happened, Chris, is I tuned out because I went looking for this image of VP in the tree so we could show it up on the stream. And when I tuned back into the show, you had just completed the vaginal sentence. So that's why I kind of busted out laughing. I was like, wait a second, what did I walk back into? But for those watching the stream, here's that image of VP up in the tree rescuing the drone out in Puerto Rico. And I think, is that you down on the bottom?
I'm down on
Jamie?
the bottom there. Yeah, you can see the back of my head there.
I am so glad I was Facebook Living. I am on the outskirts because I had this.
Is that you in the red,
mat?
Chris?
No, Chris is on the outskirts.
Okay.
I'm on the outskirts, Facebook Living the whole thing, and I looked like the little Martian from the cartoons because I had a little.
You're puny earthling.
Yeah, I look like that guy. I had a little antenna, you remember, Jamie?
Yeah.
I'll blast you with my photon ray.
Somebody joked yesterday that
the guy looked like.
Somebody joked yesterday we looked like the crew from Gilligan's Island or something. They're trying to get that drone. So
Gilligan's up there on the tree trying to get the. I think VP did grab a coconut. He brought a coconut home too.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, we were fortunate that we had him on the trip there because all the other guys, although Nick would have been able to get up there, I think, but all of us other guys were carrying a little bit too much weight to climb up in a tree these days.
Nick's a ninja anyway.
Yeah, he shimmied.
Well, Jamie, if we didn't have James, and if Nick wasn't able to do it, between you, me, and Neil, if we just sat at the base of that tree, we would just collapse the thing down into the water. And then that's another way to get it,
Doesn't Nick own the drone?
No, Neil does. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Neil.
Yeah, Neil's doing.
I'm pretty sure he'd have got up in that tree.
Well, he
That's
wasn't going to lose that $1,500 investment.
Right.
I mean, that thing. He was flying it on the beach, and the wind just took it and it smashed it into a tree there. And fortunately, we were able to get up
Neil's
into the tree.
Neil's a pretty big guy. I'm pretty sure he would have just shook the tree till it fell out.
So,
well, that was the problem. The tree was over a freaking river, so none of us didn't want to shake the tree, because then what if we didn't catch the drone? If it hit the water, you're done.
Right.
Yeah, and we're all the one guy VP was going up into the tree, and then we were all sitting underneath the tree in the water, which was about knee to thigh length or height, and we're just. But luckily, he was able to grab it and bring it out of the tree, and it was unharmed. I think it needed a little bit of an adjustment, but it's working again, so he didn't lose any money on that situation.
Yeah, what a great picture, though. Good job, Nick.
So, Chris, real quick, you got about 30 days left in your crowdfunding campaign, right? So, give the community a call to action for your crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, just if you go to Indiegogo and look up the Messengers documentary, could appreciate the help, even if it's $5. Just a contribution is a contribution. We appreciate it. It helps local filmmakers here in Tampa Bay make a film. A lot of people talk about that there's not enough filmmaking in Tampa. Well, here we are. Not only that, but we're highlighting people in the Tampa Bay area as well as other people around the country. So if you want to help the arts, and this is privately funded, so we're not using any public funds. We're not looking for government funds. We're looking for people that believe in local filmmakers to do something great. Please go to Indiegogo.com and look up The Messengers and donate whatever you can to help us make this movie. We truly appreciate it.
Yep, and you can see the trailer at themessengersdoc.com. So, Chris, thanks so much for checking in and the support of TBBO Tuesday.
Have a
thanks,
great
Chris.
Tuesday.
Thanks, Chris. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking to Matthew Lapointe, attorney with Weatherington and Hamilton Attorneys at Law. We'll be talking about what you need to know from a legal standpoint to start up and continue your business. You're listening to the TBBO Tuesdays edition of That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. 4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project. In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa, celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Heavy traffic on the southbound side of the Veterans Expressway from Hutchinson to past Waters. Southbound 75 slow from before Fletcher to just past Fowler Avenue. Also a crash on Valrico and Dr. King. And one on Gandy Boulevard and Himes. See traffic problems. Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance.
This report is brought to you by Walgreens. Easter with Walgreens is pretty sweet. They have premium candies, chocolate eggs, toys, gift cards, plastic grass and eggs, even baskets. At Walgreens, everything you need is right around the corner.
Today, a 40% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, a high 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 78. Tomorrow, a 40% rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to the TBBO Tuesdays edition of That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Time to bring on my guest for the remainder of the show, who's a TBBO member as well. Matthew Lapointe, attorney with Wetherington Hamilton Attorneys at Law. Learn more about their firm throughout the discussion over at WHHlaw.com, and he specializes solely in business startup and development. So, Matthew, welcome to the program today.
Good morning.
And we learned on the break that he's also the attorney for the Sisters of Flow lady as well.
That is right.
So this is a business. It's not just a podcast here. I mean, she's got a business behind this thing.
Denisha Hilton, who's the founder of this Sisters of Flow, it's a not-for-profit organization that she started to raise awareness about women's reproductive health issues and to help homeless women and women who are in shelters with these kinds of things. And yeah, she's a great lady. She's
so the podcast is just another tool to get the message out.
Exactly.
And it's something that me and Chris, talk about so much, is using podcasting as a tool to grow and help make your some additional money in your business. A number of different ways to do that. And that's also one of the missions of the Messengers, which we spoke about in that last segment. But how long have you been working with her and her business now?
Well, let's see. She started the Sisters of Flow fairly recently. I'm going to say within the past 6 months or so. And so my job with her was just to get the thing organized. A not-for-profit corporation, like a for-profit corporation.
Wait,
you need
get what thing organized? The flow?
Yeah, exactly. Get the flow flowing, my man. No, it was starting the corporation, getting bylaws, getting a board of directors put together. And then applying for tax-exempt status so that donations to the organization can be tax deductible. And so we're actually working on that with her.
Interesting.
Right now.
So we're going to talk about starting up a business today, and choice of entity is going to be where we're going to start. And so why in most cases is an LLC preferable to a corporation, for instance?
Sure. Well, nowadays I think LLCs are the way to go for most companies. With the possible exception of a company that really does think that they're going to go public someday. To my knowledge, there hasn't been an LLC that's gone public. Corporations are really the way to go. But that's very rare, going public. Most companies can do just fine as an LLC. The reason I think LLCs are great is, for one, the flexibility on taxation, which I'll talk to in a minute. But first, the lack of formality. You might know that corporations require annual meetings, a shareholder meeting and an annual director meeting, even if there's only one owner, one director, one president. You got to sign off on those things every year. Well, LLCs don't require that, so you can't get yourself into trouble by not doing that. If you have a corporation and you fail to do those things, that can cause you some trouble down the line. With an LLC, that's not a requirement, so it's much less formal of an organization. The second thing, which I mentioned already, is the taxation. An LLC can elect how to be taxed. I mean, it's terrific. You can elect to be taxed as a partnership, as an S corporation, or as a C corporation. So you can have an LLC that has the tax benefits of an S corporation without all those formalities of the S corporation.
Now, the S corp and the C corp, there's a key difference between like the number of shareholders that are involved.
That's
right?
true.
That's one of the key differences for the average business owner that is in TBBO and listens to this program. Maybe 1 to 5 employees. I mean, they should probably set up as an LLC, correct?
Sure. Yeah. The threshold number of shareholders in an S corporation is 75, so it's rarely a problem. We very rarely see people coming in saying, I want an S corporation, but I have 100 shareholders. It just doesn't happen.
Is it a big problem with people who start LLCs and then they really take off and they, you said you don't think you knew of any LLCs that went public, but if they were to, just hit the gold mine, for lack of a better term, is it easy to transition into the formation that they need to go public?
It is, as a matter of fact, yes.
Are they going to incur some tax penalties?
Not usually. The tax penalty is incurred going the other way. If you're going from a C corp to an S corp, or from a C corp to an LLC, that's a problem. But going from an LLC to a C corp, which is what you would do to go public, is really not a problem, and it can be done later on.
So where does the business owner start when they're starting a business? Do they start with the accountant, or do they start with the attorney?
They start with an encyclopedia and looking up all these terms you guys are throwing out there. I know nothing about what you're talking about. Just saying.
No, I do recommend that they have a good accountant. That is the first thing. If it's a single person who wants to start her own company, one woman starting her own company, I would say, you know what, you don't need me yet. You don't need a lawyer. Go to a good accountant first. And if you don't know a good accountant here, I can give you 2 or 3 names, some TBBO members. We have some great accountants in TBBO.
I know what an accountant is. That's a guy you pay to do math.
Exactly.
It's the guy who helps you to pay as least tax as possible to the government and still be legal. That's what an accountant
should a business owner ever just go to one of the websites that can set them up, without the use of an accountant or an attorney, one of those, I forget the names of the sites, but
like a LegalZoom or something like that.
That was the word I was looking for.
I really don't like those sites. I think that
that's
basically
like getting a public defender, right? I mean,
I wouldn't put it quite that way, but it's definitely not getting the benefit of a lawyer. It's just a document.
That's what I meant.
It's a document preparation service,
right? But for just incorporating or something.
Well, here let me give you an example. If we had that single woman who's starting her own business, I would tell her just go on Sunbiz and file the LLC document on your own. You don't need the LegalZoom to pay the money to LegalZoom to do that. You can do it on your own. And I have had many people call me and say, I want to form an LLC, and I say, how many people are going to own the company? If they say just one, I say, don't pay me to do it. I'll tell you how to do it. Go on Sunbiz, fill out this form, file it, pay the fee, and you're done with a single member.
What's the fee?
The fee for the LLC, I think it's only like it's a strange number. It's like $137 or something
That's it.
like that.
So you're an LLC for just under $200 and a little bit of your time then. Okay.
Exactly. And as a single member, that's pretty much all you need. Now, when you get to multi-member LLCs, then you need some documentation where I think you need a lawyer, not a LegalZoom document.
Talk a little about that when we come back from the break. Currently talking to attorney Matthew Lapointe, and you can learn more about his firm over at WHHlaw.com. You're listening to the TBBO Tuesdays edition of That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Hi, I'm Kelly Ham from Bill Meyer Ham Consulting. Did you know that one of the biggest challenges that leaders face is getting their employees to be engaged, motivated, and producing amazing business results? At Bill Meyer Ham Consulting, we'll help you transform your workforce culture from one that might be underperforming, maybe mediocre, to achieving amazing business results. You see, we realize that your workforce culture is equally as important as your business plan and your business strategy. The two must be aligned in order for you to reach your desired business and financial goals.
Carol,
hey, Jim.
I just got this plan that could really help with our process here.
Okay, why don't you just have a seat and let's go over it.
Let us help you transform your workforce culture by leveraging your most important assets, your people. I want to know what's going on in your organization. Let us help you transform your workforce culture. Let's have a conversation.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Tampa General Hospital. U.S. News and World Report just named Tampa General Hospital the #1 hospital in Tampa Bay for 2016 and 17, and nationally ranked TGH as one of America's best hospitals in 6 specialties. Great news for all of us in Tampa Bay. Tampa General. Live fiercely.
1250 Winds Weather Center forecast. Partly sunny skies. High temperature today in the lower 90s. Rain chance at 50%. Scattered showers and afternoon storms. Mid to upper 70s for the low. Say the same forecast over the next few days. Impact Radio 1250 Winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business on this TBBO Tuesdays edition of the program. So learn more about the Tampa Bay business owners, both on my site, TampaBayRadio.com, and also on TBBO.org. A lot of good events coming up, including the workshop this afternoon. Tickets are still available. TBBO members get discounted or free tickets depending on their membership level. So if you head over to TBBO.org/events, you can register for that event and see all the other different events and benefits that we have within the organization. Again, TBBO.org or TampaBayRadio.com for more information. Talking to one of our members right now, Matthew Lapointe, attorney with Wetherington and Hamilton Attorneys at Law, he specializes in a business, setting up businesses, continuation of businesses, purchase and sale agreements, things of that nature. And we're talking about the types of business formation that you should have when you're setting up a business. And you're talking about, the typical business owner is going to use the LLC, for instance. And for just one person, they can set themselves up pretty much on their own through the sunbiz.org. But multiple member LLCs. Tell us a little bit about this and what they need to know.
The difference becomes with multiple member LLCs, it becomes more complicated. And I have had a lot of people come to my office with the forms that they'll get off of a website like a LegalZoom or something like that. And the problem with the forms are a lot of times they don't match the reality of what's on the ground. I spoke earlier about the LLC flexibility, how an LLC can be taxed in different ways. Well, the LLC agreement has to match the taxation of the entity. I get more and more every day, it seems. I get a client come in and says, we got our LLC agreement from LegalZoom. And I ask, how is your LLC taxed? And they say, our accountant recommended S-Corp taxation. I say, that's terrific. But your LLC agreement is written as if you're taxed as a partnership.
They don't know what you're talking about at that point.
They don't know what they're doing. They don't know the right thing. They don't know what they don't know, frankly.
That's true.
So I think where a lawyer can help is we can prepare the correct LLC agreement. Not only that, none of those stock standard off-the-shelf LLC agreements contain what I think is the most important thing, which is buy-sell provisions. If you've got more than one owner of a company, you have got to have a plan in place for what if something happens to one of those partners. If you've got two guys who are both married with kids and they go into business together to run an HVAC AC company, let's say, right? If one of those guys passes away, his will is going to say, everything I own goes to my wife. Well, you know what? He owns 50% of that AC business. 50% of the AC business is going to go to his wife. The partner is now going to be in business with his deceased partner's wife.
Right.
You don't want that. So you need to have these buy-sell provisions in your LLC agreement that says what happens if somebody dies, what happens if somebody becomes
Can't
disabled.
somebody just put in their will that they will the business, or their interest in the business,
Sure
less
they can.
profits at that
sure
point?
They can, but you know what? You can change your will. If I'm partners with you, Jamie, and I say, yeah, trust me, Jamie, in my will it says if I die, my 50% goes to you. I can change that will tomorrow,
right?
And have it go to my wife and kids. So the LLC agreement is a deal between you and me. And in that agreement, I say in there, if I die, my estate has to sell the shares back to you. If I become disabled, I need to sell the shares back to you. If I just want to quit, I just want to leave, I sell the shares back to you. I have to. If I start screwing up, let's say I become habitually addicted to drugs or alcohol, and I'm a drain on the business, you want to be able to get rid of me.
Right.
If there's nothing in the contract to allow that, you're in business with...
So is this a frequently overlooked section of LLCs? People,
yes.
You go on LegalZoom, they're excited. They say, hey, we figured this out all on our own. But the buy-sell agreement's not one of the boxes that they checked, I guess, on LegalZoom to include.
I don't think it is a box they can check. I don't think it's offered.
So that's why you need an attorney to draft up those provisions to make sure they're inside the
that's right,
LLC
Jamie.
agreement.
It's very important.
Now, I want to go back to the S-Corp, C-Corp differentiation because you've touched on that a couple of different times. So let's go a little bit more in depth as to the differences between S and C corporations.
Sure. A C corporation is I guess the standard corporation, like a big company like Apple. That's a C corp. When Apple makes money and it earns a profit after it brings in all this money, it pays all its expenses, it pays all its employees, and it's left with money at the end of the year. That's its profit. Well, it pays tax on that profit. As an entity, it pays income tax. Then it takes that profit and it distributes it to all its owners. Everybody who owns Apple stock all over the world, they get what's called a dividend check. Mm-hmm. That's their share of the profit of Apple Corporation. So that money that Apple earned was taxed twice. It was taxed once at that entity level when Apple Corporation paid tax, and then it's taxed again when the recipient gets that check in the mail, that dividend check, they pay tax on that. The S corp was put in place to allow smaller corporations. That's why there's a 75 shareholder limit on S corps, to do away with that entity level tax. So an S corporation, you only have one level of tax. It's not taxed at the entity level. It's only taxed when the money is actually distributed to the owners, and it's taxed at that owner's ordinary income tax rate.
So is that really the only differences then? The shareholder cutoff and then just the double versus single taxation. That's really your differences right there.
There are a couple of other ones that are kind of esoteric, like a foreigner cannot own an S corp. Mm-hmm. You have to be a U.S. citizen or a resident alien green card holder to own an S corp, and I think that's about it.
So the S corp though was designed for the small business owner out there. The C corps are still the big corporations,
exactly,
the Googles and the Nikes and all those people play under those laws. Correct?
That's exactly right.
Gotcha. Now, place of incorporation is something that comes up a lot, and I know that, for instance, I've heard that Delaware is the best place to incorporate because I guess for taxation, I don't really know for sure. But talk to us about where somebody should incorporate their business.
Yeah, my recommendation usually is to incorporate where you are. If you're a Florida business, incorporate in Florida. If you're a Delaware business, sure, incorporate in Delaware. But honestly, I don't see the benefit of incorporating in a different state. Some people do it for anonymity purposes. Some states have fewer requirements as far as disclosure of the people who run the corporation or the LLC. Nevada, for example, is a state where you do not have to disclose who actually runs the LLC or who owns the LLC. And so some people who want anonymity will form their LLC or their corporation in Nevada. The reason Delaware is so popular really is for historical reasons. For one thing, the Delaware corporation law is what's taught in all the law schools. And when we go to law school, we learn about corporations. They use the Delaware corporation law to teach it. Secondly, because Delaware has been so popular for so long historically, they have a lot of judge-made law. It's called common law. A lot of cases that have interpreted the Delaware corporation law. So when you have a lot of case law, it gives you more certitude about how certain things are going to be addressed in the corporation law. So a lot of people choose Delaware for that reason as well. And then finally, again, going back to if we're talking about a corporation that's going to go public someday, all the big finance people on Wall Street and stuff, they're very familiar with the way the Delaware corporate law works and sort of prefer to work with Delaware corporations for that reason.
So there's no red flags of why somebody here local in Florida would not incorporate in Florida. There's
Correct.
there's no reason to push somebody away from that.
The Florida corporation law is very modern, is it's updated regularly by the Florida legislature. It's perfectly fine. And the Florida LLC law is one of the more modern in the country. It was last updated in 2013 or 2014. So,
what about other structures like LLPs, LLPs, triple LPs, all those things? Are those mostly just for like attorney firms, or can the typical business?
LLPs and triple LPs are mostly used in the service industries. Yes, in accounting you see it, and you see it in legal. They're complicated structures. It really has to do. They're usually conglomerations of partnerships, limited partnerships, LLCs come together and form an LLP, a limited liability partnership.
But the typical business owner, the LLC is pretty much going to par for the course.
I see no reason why you'd want to get into. I'm not a believer in complicating things for the sake of complicating them. And so to me, the simplest and easiest and the best thing for a small business owner is the LLC, and then consult with your accountant. I always talk to the accountant about whether that LLC should be taxed as a partnership, if it's a multiple member LLC, or as an S corp, and that to me takes care of 99% of the businesses that I see.
Yeah, I'm actually just ashamed of our tax law and business law. It makes it so difficult for the small business owner who has a talent, who has a skill or service. They just can't get out from underneath the regulations sometimes.
Yeah, that can be a problem. I mean, part of what I do as a business lawyer is help people understand that. I mean, the regulations dealing with overtime, regulations dealing with now the Affordable Care Act, for example. Now that only applies to businesses with 50 or more employees, but that's an extremely complicated law with very, very difficult regulations.
Right, and you mentioned the new overtime regulations. I'm going to touch on that when we come back from the break, because that's going to affect a lot of people that are just on the small business level.
It's true, yes.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about that when we come back from the break. Currently talking to, again, Matthew Lapointe, attorney with Wetherington and Hamilton Attorneys at Law. And again, you can learn more about their firm, whhlaw.com. You're listening to the TBBO Tuesdays edition of That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Delays now on the eastbound side of the Courtney Campbell Causeway out of Clearwater. Crash near the Little Bridge in the left-hand lane. Also some big delays on north and southbound I-75 out of Brandon. Northbound slow from before State Road 60 through I-4 and up near Fowler. And also southbound slow from before Fletcher to just past Fowler. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Udrich. Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Foundation for a Better Life.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Today, a 40% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, a high 93. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 78. Tomorrow, a 40% rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to the TVBO Tuesdays edition of That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Talking to Matthew Lapointe, attorney with Weatherington and Hamilton, attorneys at law. Learn more at WHHlaw.com. And Matt, we're talking, we kind of headed into the next topic there, the new overtime regulations and how those are going to affect small business owners. So for people that aren't familiar with this, tell us about this change and what's going on.
Sure. Well, back in July of 2015, the Department of Labor put out what's called a Notice of Proposed Rulemaking, showing that they were intending to change these regulations. And then back in May of 2016, the final regs were announced. And so what's happened is the threshold for salaried employees has gone up. Let me back up a step. The Fair Labor Standards Act requires employers to pay overtime to non-exempt employees, and that means any employee who works more than 40 hours a week is entitled to time and a half for any hours over 40. Now, that only applies to, as I say, non-exempt employees. So what's exempt, what's non-exempt? So an exempt employee is someone who is paid a salary, paid on a salaried basis as opposed to hourly, and that salary has to exceed a certain threshold. And if it exceeds that threshold, then the third thing is they have to meet certain duties. They have to have certain duties, certain skilled or higher administrative, executive, professional type duties.
And another key component of this is interstate commerce. Whether or not they're involved in interstate commerce comes into play here,
well,
too.
you know, the Fair Labor Standards Act has been interpreted so broadly by the Supreme Court that it's almost impossible to find a company that's not involved in interstate commerce.
Especially with the internet. Yeah, you can't.
So honestly,
that alone complicates that
it's
distinction.
Almost everybody.
Yes.
It's almost every company. I've never run into a company that wasn't bound by the Fair Labor Standards Act, by the overtime regs.
Right.
So what the new regulations did was the former threshold for salaried employees was $455 a week, or $23,600 a year. If you were paid $23,660 a year or more, then, and if you were paid on a salary basis, and if you met the duties test, you're exempt from overtime. Don't have to pay overtime. So what the rules did was they changed.
I know all about the duties test.
So what the rules did was they changed that threshold from $23,600 a year to $47,400 a year. So we've got a whole bunch of people who earn between $23,000 and $47,000 who were exempt from overtime, who now, starting December 1, 2016, are probably not going to be exempt from overtime. And so the question is, how are the employers going to handle this? Isn't
the knee-jerk reaction just to call them hourly and no longer salary employees? I mean,
that is the knee-jerk reaction. That's the easiest thing to do, is to just call them hourly instead of salaried and pay them overtime.
But obviously, the savvy employee is going to say, "Wait a minute, you're trying to screw me out of $20,000. Let me go talk to you and see how we can fix this."
Right. The thing is, it's a little bit of a complicated thing, because remember, there's 3-part tests. A lot of people forget the third part of the test, and quite frankly, I see a lot of abuse in this area. Well, I shouldn't say abuse. Maybe it's just ignorance in this area, where employers figure they're paying somebody a salary. The salary is in excess of the threshold, so therefore they're not entitled to overtime. That's not true. They've forgotten the third part of the test. The third part of the test is the duties test. Is the employee really performing an executive level function, or an administrative level function, or a professional function? If not, they should be paying them overtime anyway.
And I found through prior dealings that most people do not meet the salaried exempt threshold. That most of the times, if you really apply the test, the majority of the people that are in everyday jobs, are salaried non-exempt from overtime, non-exempt.
That's right. So if you're salaried non-exempt, if you work over 40 hours a week, you should be getting overtime. That's just
because I know a lot of
law.
people, try to protect themselves by just saying, "Oh, he or she's a salaried employee. I don't have to pay overtime," but they don't really understand that there is a test, like you've elaborated on.
You're absolutely right, Jamie, and that's a big problem. And I think this change in the threshold from $23,600 to $47,400 is going to expose a lot of that. And a lot of people are going to realize, well, wait a minute. I was supposed to be getting overtime all this time. It can be a problem.
Yeah. So, what is there a certain industry or certain businesses that are going to be most affected by this new overtime regulation, or is this pretty much just across the board?
Jamie, I think it's across the board. Anybody who has employees who they're currently paying on a salaried basis, who they're considering non-exempt, they got to look at this issue. There's no doubt.
Well, what if there's salary plus commission?
Yeah, commissions can be included. Up to 10%, I think, of your commissions can be used to meet that threshold. So yeah,
I just wonder, these benefits are out there, and I understand, why they're out there to help the small, the average employee and stuff, but it hurts the small business owner. So I just wonder if this is just going to lead to layoffs, if this is going to improve the job market. Only time will tell. Or
force people to W-2?
Well, they're already W-2s.
These are already W-2s.
These are already W-2s employees. These aren't independent contractors.
People to do 1099.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have an input or what the effect of this is going to be?
I doubt that it'll lead to big layoffs and stuff. What it is going to lead to is employers have to just think about it. When I've been advising employers, if they have people who are in this threshold who earn more than $23,660 a year, under the $47,000, that they need to just start tracking their time now. In fact, they should have started a couple of months ago, and see if they regularly exceed 40 hours a week.
Right.
And if they do, then they might want to, they have to do the math. Does it make sense to raise their salary to where they're not, to where they're overtime exempt? Or does it make sense simply to put them on hourly and keep track of their hours very carefully and pay them overtime when they're due?
This whole area, including like the difference between an employee and an independent contractor, there's just so much gray area, and there's
That's
so many
what
different
I was getting
ways
at with the W-2.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways you can kind of shift the benefits in one direction or the other, and that's why you really need the advice of an attorney in these situations, because you can.
Yeah, it's self-serving for me to say yes, but the answer is yes. You raise another thing. That's probably the thing I see abused the most is this issue of 1099 versus W-2. I got to tell you. So that's a pretty good segue, because the one time I was at a SCORE, Service Corps of Retired Executives. It's a small business administration program. Any small businesses out there that are looking for some help, that is a terrific organization. You can get a mentor who has been through business, owned a business or run a business, who can help you. Anyway, I was at a SCORE meeting, and the guy sitting next to me said, "Oh, you're a business lawyer. What's the biggest thing you see that business owners do wrong? What's the biggest mistake they made?" And easily the answer is they classify people as 1099s when they really should be classifying them as employees.
Right, and if somebody is a true 1099 contractor, they have to be able to direct their own daily activities. They're judged on the results, not how you can't give them directive each day. And also, the 1099 person should probably be in a corporation too. They should just be Joe from down the street.
Jamie, did you go to law school since the last time I heard this show?
No.
You're right on. That's exactly right.
But that's a key distinction right there. If you have a 1099 employee who's not incorporated in some question, you better pick up the phone and give Matt a call. So definitely is worth your time. So real quick, Matt, best way to get in touch with you?
Best way to get in touch with me is Matt L at WHHlaw.com, or you can call Wetherington Hamilton at 813-676-9075 or through our website.
Good discussion. We've got to wrap up another TBBO Tuesdays edition of the program. But again, thank you to Matthew Lapointe, attorney with Wetherington Hamilton Attorneys at Law. Matt,
thank you, Jamie.
Great
Thanks.
discussion. And again, learn more about them, WHHlaw.com, or you can reach out to him again via email, mattl at WHHlaw.com, or call the firm 676-9075. You've been listening to the TBBO Tuesdays edition of That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
The proceeding